I've been playing first-person shooters for pretty much my entire life. Halo 3, the original Modern Warfare 2, Battlefield 3, Titanfall 2, honestly, I could go on for hours. And I'd bet money that you've played most of these too, and you probably already have an opinion on them. But what about the games that never make it into the big YouTubers' greatest of all times list? The ones that got overlooked, underperformed, or were just too niche for anybody to notice? Well, that's what today's video is about. 7 games that I think you may have slept on. And I'm telling you right now, the comment section is gonna have a field day with what I put at the end of this list. Now, for those of you who stumbled your way here through the algorithm, welcome. I love that you decided to stop by. My name is Eric, and around here, we drink beer and talk about video games through my high quality videos that everybody loves so much.
Right.
Oh, and in case you were wondering, this isn't gonna be one of those half-assed top 10 lists where a guy just reads a synopsis ChatGPT wrote for him. And just for a quick bit of context, I've been playing video games since I was 5 years old, specifically first-person shooters, probably around that same age. And since I've been at this for nearly 3 decades, I figured who better to tell you about some slept-on gems than a beer-drinking cowboy on YouTube. However, before we get started, I did give myself some rules when making this video. The games I cover today have to be under 40,000 active players at the time of writing. I have to have at least 20 hours in each game that I talk about. I have to rank them in the order that I would consider the games most worth your time. And finally, I have to cover each game in under 3 minutes because time is money, folks. So grab yourselves a beer, find a comfy chair, and let's jump straight into this. On the off chance the Act Man actually watches this video someday, do you think I did a good job on that one?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
All right.
We're not cowboys. We are not heroes. We are the last line of defense.
The first game up is where you and 4 of your buddies play the deadliest game of cops and robbers you've ever seen. Ready or Not is set in a fictional LA the game calls Los Sueños, where the robbers happen to be filthy terrorists who've taken over every warehouse, street, school, and apartment building in the city. Yeah, this city's kinda fucked.
This is fucked.
Released into early access back in December of 2021 from an indie studio called Void Interactive, Ready or Not is the spiritual successor to the SWAT series, a franchise from the 90s and 2000s beloved for its realism and intensity. Each mission takes you on a high-stakes operation to eliminate the terrorist scum, while typically adding a layer of risk involved by putting innocent civilians between you and those enemies. Basically, imagine if Rainbow Six Siege took itself way too seriously, slept with one of the old SWAT games, and popped out a fucked up, brutal, and sometimes crazy baby. That's this game in a nutshell. The game features extensive customization for your guns and characters and fast, realistic time to kill. And there's nothing that gets your heart rate going more than standing outside of a door that you haven't cleared yet, not knowing if there's a hostage or a guy with a shotgun on the other side, and knowing you've got about half a second to make the right call once the door opens. And the game lets you approach it any way you like, whether that's like a coward using non-lethals,
You are my honey bun, sugar plum, pumpy umby umpkin. You're my
or like a real man putting those dirtbag terrorists 6 feet under like a true American. This game was honestly a no-brainer to start off with, seeing that on Steam it didn't even peak at 60,000 concurrent players. Ready or Not is by far one of the most detailed tactical first-person shooters I personally have ever played. And missing out on this game would be like the equivalent to getting yourself kicked in the dick. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, in the RPG Skyrim, what is the map most known for? Being massive and detailed, right? Now imagine a map that size with 100 players in a milsim all battling over every inch of land that they can get their hands on. That's Squad, and it's about as slept on can get. A little known game from Off-World Industries, out in early access since December of 2015. Squad got its roots in Project Reality, the legendary Battlefield 2 mod, and a lot of the core original mod creators actually came together to build this game. Squad is a large-scale 50 versus 50 PvP-only milsim shooter, where 2 teams clash over objectives, logistics, and territory across a sprawling battlefield. Squad has everything that you love about the Battlefield game's realism and cranks it up to 11. Fast time to kill, interactive healing mechanics, limited and meaningful roles for each player to fill, and above all else, it is the pinnacle of team-based shooters. Squad isn't about getting the most kills or the highest score or just progressing an arbitrary XP bar. The player who drives the logistics truck back and forth from HQ to the front lines matters just as much as the player who's establishing a spawn point for the other 49 players players on his team. And if you don't like being an infantry soldier, fly your fellow squad mates to the front lines in helicopters. You don't want to learn the basics of flying? Blow shit up with a tank.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Regardless of your play style, when this all comes together, when your squad's pushing and coordinating together with armor support, while some guy half a mile back is calling in mortars right on top of the enemy's position, there's nothing else in gaming that feels like that. And the game is slow, that is true. Hell, a lot of the times it can be a full-on walking simulator. But when shit hits the fan, there aren't many games that have combat that can reach the high that this one does. And you want to know the craziest part? This game has only peaked at 38,000 players on Steam. It is criminally underrated. Squad is the ultimate wet dream for any gamer who wants to play something that isn't asking for 100% of your full effort 100% of the time.
That's right. Squad, give me all you got.
Welcome to the finals, the world's greatest game show.
That's right. Skyway Stadium has loaded and our contestants are ready for the big match.
Now I have an important question for you. Do you like blowing shit up? Do you like competitive shooters with simple classes and customizable loadouts? Do you enjoy being a menace to society where you get to be that one asshole running around with a melee weapon killing everyone? Then the finals is for you. The game takes place in a futuristic game show setting, where players are contestants and compete for fame and fortune every single match. Think of it as an even more fucked up version of the Squid Games if that was even possible, because instead of playing childhood games, the contestants are playing with fucking explosives. The finals released back in December of 2023, and it was the first game released by Embark Studios. Yes, that Embark Studios. Embark Studios, for those of you that have been living under a rock and didn't know,
You must think I'm pretty dumb, huh?
was founded by several DICE employees. The same DICE who revolutionized blowing shit up in video games. The Finals is a PvP arcade shooter that lets you pick up to 3 classes, the heavy, medium, and light, all of which have their own specific gear and guns to use. Not too dissimilar to a hero shooter, but with more customization, and it's actually a good game. Can anyone really pass up an opportunity to dunk on that shit show? But anyways, do you want to know what the coolest part of the finals is? Forget the gunplay and art style for a second. The best part of this is that everything on these maps can be destroyed. And because of that, every match plays out differently depending on how people interact with the environment. You can literally blow up everything. And I mean everything. See that tree over there? Or that wall right there? Okay, but there's no way you can bring down the whole building. Then you stack on top of that the dynamic team-based game modes and the fast-paced movement, and you've got a shooter that doesn't feel like anything else out there. Now you might be thinking, well, Eric, if the game was so great, how did it peak at over 240,000 players, and now it barely manages 10,000 on a regular basis?
Good question.
I don't fucking know. That's why it's on this list. Look at it like this. Do you like game shows? Do you like blowing shit up? And do you like shooters that cost you nothing to download? If so, then you should probably give this game a try.
Before we continue, I gotta ask you fellas a favor. An obnoxious amount of you do not subscribe to these videos even though you really enjoy watching them. So if you're having as much fun today watching this video as I did making it, do me a solid and go ahead and hit that there like button for your boy. And if you'd be so inclined as to hit the subscribe button, I'd be much obliged.
Okay, 5 minutes.
You may be skilled, but out here, there are none. In Lamont, respect isn't free. You have to earn it.
So this game was supposed to be the Escape from Tarkov killer, and to say the least, it didn't live up to that at all.
You're a fucking disappointment.
But the hype around this thing was freaking nuts when it dropped. Gray Zone Warfare was released into early access in 2024 and was built by a small team called Madfinger Games. The game takes place on a fictional island called Lamang, following a mysterious catastrophic event known as, well, the event. Listen, I didn't put the game on the list because the writers were super smart. I put it on the list because it's fun to play. You pick from one of 3 military factions, better known as PMCs, then drop into a persistent world with up to 47 players on the map at any given time. The game answers a question that nobody knew they needed the answer to before. What happens if you say fuck it and take the extraction loop and throw it into an open world MMO game? The best way I can describe how it feels is, think of Ghost Recon making an extraction shooter, but it wasn't made by a shitty publishing company like Ubisoft. And they put you in the map like Wildlands without a timer in the top left corner of the screen telling you whenever the fun has to end. You've got fully customizable guns, realistic ballistics, and real-time helicopter rides that drop you anywhere you want to go on the map. And if you're more of a casual gamer who wants a more laid-back experience, they've already got a built-in PvE mode, which allows you to explore the map without worrying about some bushwookie in a corner shooting you in the back while you're systematically wiping out an entire generation of villagers. Whether you're customizing the perfect kit to go in with, coordinating with your squad to take out enemies, or just trying your best to do a stealthy engagement, if you want a tactical experience to play with your buddies like the good old days, and you don't mind a little early access jank, this game might be right up your alley. And despite the game averaging around 5,000 players on Steam at any given time, it might look like a ghost town to some of you, but in reality, that leaves you with around 100 full lobbies to jump into and experience the game at any time. If you've been waiting for a great Ghost Recon game like me, this is the game that Ubisoft wishes they were talented enough to make.
If you knew how you were going to die, if you knew how you were going to die, how would you live your life? How would you live your life differently?
Okay, so we all know Halo. We all have likely played a Halo game in the past. So why would I put the newest Halo game on this list? Honestly, maybe it's just me, but I firmly believe that if 343 Halo Studios wasn't a bunch of fucking dipshits that built the entire game on an engine that... Okay, maybe I should cut this part out of the script. You know what? Fuck it. They didn't even know how to release simple updates for, then the game would have possibly been the greatest Halo game since Halo 3. So let's cut to the chase. Halo Infinite launched to respectable 272,000 peak Steam players back in 2021. But that was 4 years ago, and this is now.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
But despite the game once again being a miscarriage of justice for Halo fans everywhere at launch, the fact is, 4 years removed from its release, the game finally has what it was missing: content. It was never about the gameplay, the art style, the music, or even the open world campaign. Most players at the time, myself included, thought Halo Infinite was the beginning of the next golden age of Halo. We thought the devs finally got it right. The game is literally a Halo 3 fan's dream come true.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Slower paced gunplay, sprint basically being an afterthought, map designs akin to the classic Halo games, equipment and weapon pickups on the map, and above all else, that Halo feel being back in the first time in over a decade. The problem was that there was nothing to do in the game when it was released. You had all these mechanics and nothing to enjoy engaging them with. But now, with a multitude of ways to play, the conversation is flipped on its head. Whether you want to play something competitive in 4v4 arena modes, or play something fun and relaxing in custom games, or just drive around Halo's iconic vehicles in big team battle, the game at this point really does have something for everyone. I won't pretend that Halo Infinite's perfect. Hell, its legacy is always going to be tied to failure. But if you enjoyed the classic Halo games, even though the player base is practically dead, the game is free to play, and I highly recommend that you give it a shot. Just don't be stupid and become a Halo fan like the rest of us. At this point, the fans have Stockholm Syndrome. Our captors, we've fallen in love with them. We keep buying their games every single time they release them, knowing full well that they're going to come out broken. Ah, yes. We have come to the game that grabbed me by the balls.
What did he say?
And said,
You better cowboy up, little boy. This isn't your typical respawn after every death experience.
Arena Breakout Infinite was released into early access in August of 2024, and it was developed by a China company called More Fun Studios, aka Tencent Games, aka the Chinese guys that have their hand in like every goddamn franchise these days. Side note, am I the only one that's concerned with how many games that these guys are involved with these days? Arena Breakout Infinite was the first extraction shooter I put any meaningful time into, and to be honest, it hooked me fast. The game is a tactical extraction shooter in a fictional region called Kamona? I don't fucking know. It plays out exactly how you'd expect. You build your kit, you queue into matchmaking, you loot the map, you extract or get killed, and you repeat the process over and over again like an insane person expecting a different outcome every time. Here's the thing that actually sold me on it though. The overall quality of the game and the quality of life features that the game presented made it the ultimate starting off point for someone like me. The gunplay and map design are intuitive and easy to understand. The economy and health regeneration mechanics don't take a rocket science degree to learn. And above all else, you don't need a second fucking monitor to pull up the in-game map like another extraction shooter we won't be talking about today. Not only that, Arena Breakout Infinite essentially eliminates one of the hardest things to wrap your head around whenever you're playing these games, and that's gear fear. They streamline the most annoying part of the genre and threw you straight into the best part, the high stakes, intense, and extremely engaging firefights. And you want to know the craziest part? Out of all 7 games that we're talking about today, Arena Breakout Infinite has the highest active player count with 32,000 at the time of writing. So there's a thriving community of gamers waiting for you to join them.
Group.
Yeah!
One of us. One of us.
Here's the bottom line. If you have the stomach to play a shooter where you know you're gonna die a lot, and you come to terms with the fact that the loot you have is really just the loot that you've borrowed, then this may be the perfect entry point into the extraction genre for you. But let's say that you don't really like milsim shooters. You're more into arcade games like Halo and the Finals. Then boy do I have the game for you. And this will be the game that's either for you or the game that causes you to go in the comment section and burn me at the stake. What's a good ranked list in gaming if it doesn't end with some heavy controversy? Half the viewers who made it this far into the video just clicked off. A quarter of them are grabbing their pitchforks. And the other quarter are watching with their hands over their eyes as I make my case. But I'm prepared to take on the hate and stand on business.
This is the part where you run away.
So let's get into it. Marathon was released in March of this year, and it was developed by Bungie Studios. And to be honest, it may be the single most hated shooter ever released, third only to Concord and Highguard. And if you were somehow unaware of this, welcome to the shit show. Grab a seat, you're gonna need to sit down for this one. Marathon is a reboot of the 1990s cult classic that put Bungie on the map. The game takes place on Tau Ceti 4. No, not that one. This one. It's based around the premise that the colonists on the planet disappeared, and the corporations who funded the project to get humanity out there in the first place want to scrape up whatever profits and salvage that they can from the failed expansion. You play as a runner, and your job is to loot, kill, and survive on this planet while completing contracts for those previously mentioned corporations and trying to discover what happened to the colonists. And it's a fucked up system too, let me tell you, because in the lore, you're basically just a brain in a jar getting uploaded into a body every single time you die. Oh, and you owe the company that creates the body trillions of dollars, and if you don't pay them, they can just delete your consciousness.
Get fucked, nerd.
It's kind of like owing the bank money here in America, just not as extreme. No? Yeah, alright.
I'll just go fuck myself.
What really makes this game stand out is its gunplay, map design, and art direction. Every gun in the game feels great to use. There's something to be said about the iconic Bungie feel, and the map design is masterfully crafted, just like the good old days in the original Halo games. Oh, and the in-game map is basically a Destiny raid thrown into an extraction shooter. And the colorful art design, despite it being a hot button topic, in my opinion, it sets itself apart from the rest of the genre in a unique and refreshing way. Now we need to address the elephant in the room.
Do you want to talk about the elephant in the room?
Wow. Okay. You know what? First of all...
The player base is in fact dying off, and honestly, I could make an entire video about why that is. But the fact remains, Marathon is exactly what you would expect an extraction shooter to play and feel like when it's being developed by the studio who made Halo and Destiny. And by no means is the game perfect, but for $40, it's a pretty solid purchase. I'll put it to you like this. If you enjoy arcadey gunplay, the extraction loop, and are into sci-fi settings, then missing out on this game would be like me showing you the best steakhouse you'll ever eat at and turning away from it because you don't like the chef who cooks there. The reality is this, guys. Opinions on what games are best and which ones aren't are like buttholes. Everybody's got them. I personally believe that out of all the underrated shooters out there, these 7 bring a lot of content and fun experiences to the table. These 7 do things that the mainstream shooters don't do, and these 7 deserve a spotlight shined on them. And if covering any of these videos today made you want to hear more about one of them specifically, drop it in the comments down below. A few of these deserve their own full video, and I'd like to see which ones you guys would actually watch. And here's the truth. You don't have to agree with my list. But if even one of you watching right now had your curiosity piqued by one of the games that I talked about, and you're able to download the game and enjoy it for however many hours that may be, whether this video gets 10 views, 1,000 views, or 10,000 views, it'll have been worth making. I've been playing first-person shooters for nearly my entire life. I love the mainstream, ultra-successful kings of the industry as much as the next guy. But sometimes it's nice to find those hidden gems that nobody else seems to care about, because those games can end up becoming the ones that last with you the longest. Now, if you made it this far into the video, you have my thanks. You're a real one for making it to the very end. So do me a favor, whenever you drop your comment below, make sure you include the phrase real ones, so I know you're part of that limited group of people. And include some of your favorite underrated shooters that people should try.
And if you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing for some more awesome beer drinking cowboy content. And if you can, go ahead and drop a like on this here video as well, so YouTube can push it to more failures like yourself.
I recently made a video talking about the extraction shooter genre as a whole, so if you're interested in checking that out or another one of my awesomely edited videos, go ahead and click on one over here. My name is Eric, and I like to make videos on things that I find interesting or cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.